So Lucas, we'll start the video off. If you want to show people last month, how much did you make with one of your clients on OnlyFans?
Okay, so last month, it was September, which I made $42,500.
Yeah.
The month before is when I signed the client. I did actually make 42, which is just a little less. But this month, with your teachings and me coming around to the house, we're already at 33, almost $34,000. So by the end, it should be 60,000 at the end of October.
Cool. So $42,000 is not a small amount of money. So that's already impressive. But you kept hitting that month after month, and you're kind of plateauing and stuck at that. And then now, by just me helping you with both the marketing and the chatting side of things, halfway through the month, we're already at $33,500.
Yeah, big.
And so obviously on track to do around 60 if we really push it, maybe even $70,000, which is nearly double what the account was doing beforehand. So let's break it all down. And first of all, give a bit of an introduction to people about who you are, how did you get here, and what is it that you do. So I've had you on the channel before in a previous video, but for some people who don't know, really quickly, just give people a bit of a context of where you're from and how did you get into OFM?
Yeah, so my name's Lucas. I'm from Manchester, 20 years old. Straight out of A-levels, I joined 9 to 5, which I just thought was terrible. People in the office eating shit next to me, and I just did not like that. So I was like, how can I find a way to make money online, whether it's by myself, with a team or whatnot. I found you through social media, and then I just thought, why not take the leap? Everyone takes kind of risk to make some money in life. So I joined the coaching community, and the results speak for themselves.
And so before you started OFM, did you do any other online businesses, any like SMA, dropshipping?
No, absolutely. It was just my first business model. I was, I think 18 or 19 at the time. And yeah, that was the first thing I saw, dive straight into it. I might have thought about other online businesses, but nothing really caught my eye.
Okay, cool. And when you found out about OFM, was there anything in particular? Did you like see a bunch of results and loads of people making money and you're like, okay, this makes sense? Or is there anything else that you're like, as a reason as to why you wanted to get into it?
Yeah, obviously the, Lamborghinis, supercars and like Dubai lifestyle catch your eye. But the main thing for me was just like helping out the family, which of course everyone wants to do. And, it's giving me access to do that. So I'm very proud of myself.
Good, good. Yeah, you're doing fucking great, bro. Very good. Okay. So, and then you joined the program, I want to say over a year ago, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, over a year ago. And when you were joining initially, you weren't a part of any other programs? This is like your first time ever joining like a mentorship, right?
No, yeah, and I think that was good for me because I thought, right, this is the first kind of leap I'm doing in my teenage days, and I was ready to get stuck into it, so I just put my all into it straight away. So I'm glad it was my first thing.
Good. And when you were joining, when you jumped on a call with our team, was there any bit of doubt in the back of your mind about whether it was relating to the mentorship, the business model, whether you can succeed? Was there any kind of doubts in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, this was a long time ago. Obviously, my mindset's changed so much, but I guess on the call, I was, maybe a bit skeptical, but, I was in a fuck it mindset at the time, and your team just gave me that extra push to make me believe in myself, and it was just completely worth it.
Good, good. Okay, cool. So then let's talk about your OnlyFans journey. Do you remember how long it took you to get your first client?
Yeah, exactly 5.5 days. Because I remember I was like, wow, that's so fucking quick. And yeah, I mean, after that first client, you learn a load of lessons. Days where I had no clients and I was like distraught because I've gone from like 1,000 on a month to...
It's all right, just let her chill there.
Yeah, we'll carry on. Yeah, so those days where I might have gone from 3 clients and then lost 2 extremely. So there's been ups and downs, but first client within 6 days. And yeah, I think the key to OFM is just relentlessly outreaching.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, in 5.5 days to get your first client is very good. Inside of the community, I've said this before, but it takes an average of about 2 to 3 weeks. So you were actually a lot faster. And the person that you signed, was it somebody that you already knew, or it's a new random person?
Yeah, random person online. And I would actually disagree with that point. From what I'm seeing, it's more like, if you actually apply yourself, you can usually tell the people that are actually doing the outreach and, doing it half-heartedly. But I'd say it's usually 10 days.
Yeah. I can say that. Yeah. Again, yeah, it just depends. Like the reason why I say average, because I got to take into account the people that join and then they spend a month or so watching through all the course materials and Right, because they're busy, right? Maybe they have a full-time job. Maybe they also have a family to look after, whatever it is. They don't have the time to like sit there for a whole day and go through all of the material, right, on Monday. But yeah, for people like yourself who've really put the effort in and just go straight in with outreach, trying to get the first client, about 10 days. Yeah, which is insane. Yeah. Like with dropshipping, e-commerce, you got to find a product, then you got to build a site, then you got to run paid ads. And first of all, you got to learn the business model and all of these things. That takes literally weeks and money, upfront capital. Yeah. With this, you just send a few messages. Did you do it from your Instagram? Like,
Yeah, just my personal Instagram page, just sent a few messages. It would have been like my 100th or, multiple 100th message.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was just, I onboarded her.
Good. Now, when you were doing the outreach and trying to close your first client, did you have some doubt in the back of your mind about yourself personally, in the sense of like, I've never done this. What if I fuck it up? I've never done marketing. I've never done management of any clients. Did you have any doubts of this?
Yeah, but I'd also seen the success of other people. And I thought, if they can do it, why can't I? There was definitely doubt in the first, 3 months of doing OFM. But like I said, with the help of the community, your mindset just changes so much. You learn stuff every day. You get more and more confident, and you win more and more.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you got your first client. Do you remember how much? Are you still working with her or no? No, this is a long time ago. Fair enough. Most people don't.
Yeah.
I definitely don't work with my first clients anymore. So do you remember how much she was making and how much you scaled her to?
Yes, not the exact numbers, but she was around 200 when I onboarded her. So quite a small client, like $200 per month. And then the max I got her to, 3.5.
Okay, per month in areas. And that was a 50% client.
Yeah, 50.
Cool.
And then just a little side note, she left, realized that she made a mistake and joined back, and then I onboarded her for 60. So it was
And to be honest, that normally never happens.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very rare that you'll get a client that leaves and then comes back. And I think she done it twice, no? Was that a different client?
I might have been someone, I think she asked to do it, come back, but I was just like,
Yeah. There's red flags at that point, yeah. Okay, cool. But still, let's look at even that, right? I mean, did you have any 9-to-5s before?
Yeah, so like I said at the start, I had a digital marketing apprenticeship, and that was literally it. I was in there for just under a year, and I was kind of doing OFM for 3 months towards the end of that, and I was thinking, right, I've got enough money. If I leave my job, I've got enough money to survive.
Yep.
Let's just make the jump.
And you're living at home at the time?
Yeah, I'm living at home. Within them 5 days, when I signed my first client, I got the message and I went, excuse me, can I just go into the office with my line manager? And I said, yeah, I've got to leave. Yeah, it's quite a cinematic story.
Let's talk about it, because as well, if you don't mind me asking, how much were you making in your apprenticeship, like per month?
1,800 a month, maybe.
Pounds.
Yeah, so I was making like 22 grand a year.
A year, yeah. Okay, and it was in office, so you had to drive or get a bus or whatever to that.
40-minute drive, or used to get the train. And whilst I was on the train, I'd watch the coaching lessons.
Yeah.
So that was like where the journey was starting. I still remember being in this like rat race train. In the UK, it's just gloomy and wet. So I'm just like, I just need to get out.
Yeah, just watching these videos.
Watching these videos, sign my client, and then yeah.
And then seeing the win section as well, everybody else also making money.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about that real quick, because I think a lot of people, that's one of their first goals, is to just replace their 9-to-5 income. I remember the feeling that I had, which was just like surreal.
Yeah.
I always had it. And to be honest, I had it since I was a kid in school. But like back then, my thought process was, I just can't wait to not have to go to school. Not that I hated school. I kind of really enjoyed it, actually, thinking back at it. I think it was quite a fun time. But like the idea of having to wake up when I didn't want to, going to a place which I didn't really want to most days, and then being there for a certain amount of time, which I almost felt like was a waste of time, to then come home to just have like 3 hours in the evening to like do what I actually wanted to do.
Before you have to go to bed and do it all again the next day.
From Monday to Friday, right? And I always thought since I was a kid, and then obviously once you grow up and become an adult, you do the same shit, but it's work now, right? And I always had this feeling of like, I just can't wait to just, not to be a millionaire, right, at the beginning. It was just to be able to do what I want when I want. And when I was able to do that, that was like a surreal feeling. So I want you to talk people through, when was it? What was your mindset like? And I think you just said it was when you signed that first client.
Yeah, so I signed that first client on the day, quit my job straight away, and I didn't even tell like my parents or anything. So I was in a routine where I'd have to wake up for my job, but not actually go to my job. I would just sit in cafes and just work until I had to go home. So it actually worked out pretty well. I could just, work all day. And yeah, I guess that was pretty much it. What else did you ask?
About like your mindset, but to be honest, you just said it was like, I got my first client, fuck it, I'm gonna all
It's fairly simple. Like you said, you didn't like school, or you didn't like the idea of a 9 to 5 job, and you couldn't wait to be remote. Everyone's story is different. I really enjoyed school. Obviously, I just hated my job, so that's when I wanted to get out. But I don't think my money mindset kicked in until I, was deep into that 9 to 5, when I thought, oh, this is how, most people's lives are.
Yeah. You see your kind of managers and the business owner, and they're not living the life that you want to be living or how you envisioned it. So then it's like, is this what I'm working towards? And like, that's not really what I want. So then why am I here? That was my thing as well.
Yeah. I mean, my manager was like just extremely unhealthy.
Right.
Like right in the room over there. Like there was no role models around.
Yeah.
So I just had to go find the community.
Yeah. Okay. So then let's talk about that. So you joined the program a bit over a year ago now, and when you joined, how was it? Like the group coaching calls, the community, the support tickets, etc.
Yeah. So like I said, I was, I really wanted to get stuck in with things. So I was just on every single coaching call, the 2 that we do in the week and the extra Sunday one as well. I was always in the general chat trying to ask, the community for questions or like tips on their agency. And what I tell people to do now is I formulated like my own like mini network, and I just DM every single person that had spoken in a general chat, whether they hated me for asking them so many questions. I didn't really care, but now I've got a brilliant network.
Good.
A lot of people want to speak to me, want to speak about their firm, and yeah.
Most people don't do that. Most people will join, like they'll pay their hard-earned money to join a community. And like, yeah, they're technically a part of the community, but they don't actually connect with anyone.
Yeah, they don't know about they're in the community.
Right. And I feel like you guys have to do what Lucas just said, is when you join the community, you have to reach out to people and like, oh, you're from the UK as well? Okay, cool, we have that commonality. Whereabouts in the UK? And then you maybe become like accountability partners, and then you push each other further. You don't technically work together, but you do keep each other accountable, which pushes both of you guys further.
Definitely. If you're in proximity with someone, I think I met like 5 guys from the UK that were in OFM. I was just doing whatever I could to kind of, network. It's not like a major, it's not hands-on help with your business. Like networking with someone isn't going to improve your like structure or whatever. But like you said, it's good for accountability, motivation, seeing what other people are doing and sharing ideas with each other.
Good. And then I think the first time that we met was the London Mastermind. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I hosted an event in London. I think it was a room full of about 20, maybe 30 people.
Yeah.
It was a small group, but what I liked about it is because it was small, I was able to interact with everybody. I remember you came along, and all of a sudden now it's not just a little Discord name. You put a face to it, and you then really get to connect with people. There were some people that flew in from like France, or like specifically Paris, like Amsterdam, US. There's a guy from Canada as well, just fucking crazy. I need to do more of those.
Yeah, so I think we should get a Dubai one, pending.
Yeah. So then that's where I met you in person. And from there on, we obviously became a lot closer friends, and we spoke more online. And then eventually I was like, hey, there's so many people in this community, I need some help. And by this point, your agency was up and running as well, doing very, very well. I just kept seeing you sign a new client. Hey, here's a new record day, record month, record week. So then I proposed the idea for you to come on board, and instead of just being a part of the community, you're actually one of the managers inside of the community. So that's what you do now.
Yes.
So if you want to tell people a little bit about your role, what is it that you do, and any stories that come to mind when somebody has asked you for your help and you've said something and they've come back to you and be like, oh, by the way, I've done this thing. Thank you so much. Here's my result.
Yes, I mean, when you join the community, you get to speak to obviously all the team members, but mainly me. I'm always in the general chat helping people out, and you can always have one-to-one messages with me in the ticket system. And yeah, I've had, you want me to name a specific time, but there's just countless times of people saying like, oh, OMG, I did this thing and it worked. And because I give out like the same advice, sometimes very specific to their model, it just, you know, it always just seems to help out. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but
Yeah.
you know, I kind of know what I'm doing, and I like helping people out. And I also think that one of the reasons why I took this on is because I heard this saying, like, you should always ask a busy person to get something done. So if I take on more and more stuff, I just need to get more and more out, and I don't know, it works perfectly for me.
And you're also able to learn from everybody at the same time as well, like more than by just kind of reading the chat, right? You get to actually talk to them all on a one-on-one basis.
Well, like I said, I like networking, so yeah, this is like the pinnacle of networking. If everyone's coming to me asking for advice, I can share tips, and then if they have any information, I'm happy to onboard it myself.
So just for people that are watching, to visualize what Lucas said. So inside of our online like private network, there's what, 300 people now, 300 plus.
Yeah, I think 350 something.
350 now. Yeah, well, that's growing quick. So there's about 350 people, agency owners from all around the world. And then in there, you have like your general chat where it's a big group chat where everybody can talk about whatever. But there's also a section which is called like a support ticket.
Yes.
The easiest way to imagine it is it's like when you go to a website like paypal.com, as a random example, you'll typically in the bottom right of the website, you'll have like a little speech bubble where you can create a support ticket, right? Whenever you have a problem, a question, whatever. And then typically like an agent will be connected to you, and then you can talk to it like in live chat. It's the same concept, apart from Lucas is the person typically answering all these questions, right? And that's just something that we implemented because we've realized that, yeah, although the general chat is amazing and everybody talks on there are some times when it's too busy, like too many things are going on. And if you are somebody who asks a question in between loads of people talking, your question just gets buried in the DMs and might never get answered.
Yes.
But with a support ticket, it's only me, you, and our other staff members that can see it, and obviously the person that's asking, and nobody else, and you'll guarantee a response.
Yeah.
And I think that's helped a lot of fucking people.
I say to everyone that comes on board, like, do not DM me. My DMs are parked, I don't actually check them. Message in the support ticket, because that's going to get you like an instant reply.
Yeah, exactly. So cool. All right, guys. So I'm sure you guys are familiar now with Lucas, or if you're not, there's another video on my channel with him as well. Thank you so much for jumping on, bro, and sharing your story, what it is that you do with Fame You Now. And I'm excited to do one of these again in about 6 to 12 months time and see where you're at there.
I appreciate that, bro.
Sweet. I'll see you guys on the next one.